Today, I'm wearing yellow, which I don't do super often, but yellow reminds me of happiness. And do you know what makes me really happy? Playing review games with my students. I am a huge supporter of playing games to review for quizzes and tests and assessments because they are super engaging for your students. In today's video, I'm going to share with you all my top 5 favorite review games to play with my students. The games I'm going to share with you can be used to review any subject area and can be used with basically any grade level, so they are all super versatile. Also, the games are all super low prep, which I know makes teachers happy because we don't have time to be laminating and printing a bunch of cards and materials to play a review game. Finally, all of these games can be adapted to fit your needs. Feel free to change any of the rules to make it work for you and your students. As a teacher, that's one of my favorite catchphrases, make it work. If you like any of these review games I share with you, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any future videos. You all know what's coming. My top favorite review game is Trask Ball, okay? It's a slam dunk. Do you see what I did there? If you have never heard of Trask Ball, I'm sorry, but you need to get your head in the game, okay? Double pun. Basketball in High School Musical. You're welcome. Trask Ball is exactly what it sounds like. It is basketball with a trash can. All you need to play is a trash can, a ball, and some questions. For this game, I usually split my class into several different teams. I've played with 4 teams. I've also played with up to like 8 teams. I will ask a question and have the entire team answer it. You can either have one student write it on a whiteboard for the entire group, or you can have every student solve it on their own. I will pick a student from each team to check. Usually it's on a rotation basis, but sometimes I make it random. If that student gets the question correct, they earn a point for their team, and they get an opportunity to shoot a ball into the trash can to earn bonus points. I usually have 2 different shooting lines. They can either shoot from the closer line, which is worth 1 bonus point, or they can shoot from the farther line, which is worth 2 bonus points. Obviously, the team with the most points at the end wins. I usually use my whiteboard just to keep track of the scores, and each team is responsible for adding their own points as we go along. Now let's talk about how to fancy this game up a tad. First of all, I do have an editable Trask Ball template in my Teachers Pay Teachers store that you can use to store all of your questions and answers. The template includes both PowerPoint versions and Google Slide versions, and it also includes templates for 5, 10, 15, 20, or 25 questions. All you have to do is type in your own questions and answers. Like I said, it can be adapted for any subject area or any grade level, and you're ready to play the game. I also love using this basketball trash can. I personally got mine from Bed Bath & Beyond. Don't forget to use your coupon. But you can also get them from Amazon, and I've been told you can get them from certain dollar stores, but I don't have those around me, so I can't confirm. For the balls, I use these soft foam type balls that I got from Party City, but you could just use balled up pieces of paper if you want to. I do find it helpful to have 1 ball per team. That way, as soon as I check a team's answer, they can go ahead and grab a ball and get in line, and it just helps speed up the process. Another review game I love is called Sink or Swim. I know I've talked about this review game on my channel once or twice, but I do not feel like it has gotten the love it truly deserves. All you need to play are some questions. Literally, that's all you need. I will say this game works better for questions that don't require a lot of work, questions that are very simple and students can come up with the answers quickly because it helps the game move along faster, and for this game, you want to move fast. I recommend using true-false type questions or multiple choice type questions, or just any kind of questions where the students don't have to do a lot of work to answer. When I play, I only divide my class into 2 teams, but you could definitely divide it into more if you wanted to. I have everyone start standing up, and that represents them being in the game. If you don't want to have your students standing, or you know, they're complaining because they have to stand, you could have them sit on their desk, so long as they do so carefully. I alternate asking questions between the teams. I typically ask a question to 1 single student, and then I rotate that student after every question, but you could definitely have the entire team work together to answer. Here's where it gets fun. If the student gets the question correct, they have a choice to sink or swim. If they choose sink, they get to pick a member of the opposing team to sit down and therefore be temporarily out of the game. If they choose swim, they get to pick a member of their own team who had been sunk and is seated, and they can have them stand back up and rejoin the game. Now, if the student gets the question incorrect, they themselves are sunk. If you had the entire team solve the question, then I guess you would just randomly pick a student to sit down. The first team to sink every member of the opposing team is the winner, If you run out of time, I would just do it based on the number of students that are still in the game. I will warn you and say this game can get a little bit competitive. I do suggest having a really great relationship among all of your students so they do not get their feelings hurt if they are getting sung. But as long as you set the tone that, you know, it's just a game and none of it is personal, the students really love it. There are a few variations you can try. I have played this game completely silent, and the only person that can speak is the person I'm asking the question to. If any students speak out of turn, then they are sunk. That's really good if you just need some quiet time, because as teachers, we always need quiet time. That version is a lot of fun because students have to use nonverbal communication as they're trying to figure out who to sink or who to swim, and it's fun to watch it play out. Just like with Trask Ball, if you want to, you know, fancy up the game a little bit, I do have an editable template where you can add your own questions and answers. It works exactly like the Trask Ball template. It has both PowerPoint and Google Slide versions, and it has templates for 5, 10, 15, 20, or 25 questions. If you like Trask Ball and you like Sink or Swim, you will love my next review game called Grudge Ball, because it takes the best parts of both of those games and, you know, combines it all into one. All you need to play is something to use as a hoop, a ball, and some questions. I split my class into about 6 teams, and I start by giving every team 10 X's up on the whiteboard. So I guess technically you also need a whiteboard, but most of us have those, so I left that part out, sorry. As long as a team has at least 1 X, they are still in the game. I will ask a question, every team will answer it. If a team gets the question correct, they have the opportunity to erase an X from an opposing team. To keep it interesting, I also let the team shoot a ball at a hoop for the opportunity to erase additional X's from opposing teams. Just like with Trask Ball, they can shoot from the closer line, and if they make it, they get to erase 1 additional X from a team, or they can shoot from a further line, and if they make it, they get to erase 2 additional X's. Now they can choose to erase all of their X's from one team, or they can, you know, spread the love a little bit and erase 1 from different teams. If at any point a team has all of their X's erased, they are out of the game. But, you know, I still want to keep them engaged, so I allow my students to make their way back into the game if they answer the next question correct and they shoot from the closer line and make it. I will give that team 5 X's to get back into the game. Again, like with Sink or Swim, stress to your students not to take it personally if, you know, another team is erasing their X's. It's all just part of the game. But I will say, I make it known to my students that what goes around comes around, and if you start erasing X's from another team, be prepared for them to come back at you. Now, since this is Grudge Ball and not Trask Ball, I like to use an actual basketball hoop instead of a trash can. I grabbed this basketball hoop off of Amazon. It was about $25. It measures 12 inches by 18 inches. I love it because I can easily take it out when I need it, hang it over a cabinet or hang it on my door, and then store it away when we're not playing. Just like with Trask Ball and Sink or Swim, of course, I do have an editable template that you can insert your own questions and answers into. It works just like the other 2 that I already mentioned. This next review game really tests how students stack up because it involves Jenga. For this game, all you need are some colored Jenga blocks and some questions. For the colored Jenga blocks, you can actually go on Amazon and purchase blocks that are already colored, or you can paint them yourself, but again, you can go on Amazon and purchase Jenga blocks that are already colored, okay? For this game, I actually have several sets of the colored Jenga blocks. That way my students can work in teams and each team can have their own. The colored Jenga blocks typically come with a die that has different colors on each side that students will roll, and that helps determine what color block they're going to pull out on their turn. In order to play the game, students will roll the die, but before they can pull out their colored block, they have to answer a question from that color category. If they answer the question correctly, they can pull their block. If they don't answer the question correctly, they miss their turn. The game continues until someone knocks over the stack, just like regular Jenga, but of course, you can have students reset it and play again. I mentioned answering a question from a color category. A really easy way to organize this is have a different list of questions for each color, and then print that list of questions on that color paper. I recommend using your Astro Brights for color paper. That is my personal preference, but if you don't have access to color paper, you can just label each set of questions with the color. Most of you have probably heard of my last review game, but I'm gonna include it anyway because that doesn't make it any less awesome. My last review game is called Kahoot, and your students will love it. This game does require at least 1 device per team, and by device I mean computer or Chromebook or tablet, something electronic that can connect to the internet. The best part about this review game, well, maybe not the best part, but one of the best parts is you can have students play as teams, or you can even have students play individually. Now, Kahoot is a free website. You can either create your own quizzes, or if you don't have time for that, you can search through thousands of quizzes that are already created by other teachers. Once you launch the game on your computer, and I recommend having some kind of projector so the students can see it, a code will be displayed. Students enter the code on their computer and they join in the game. As questions appear on the main screen, students will then answer on their personal devices. You can choose to have the game keep track of points, and then it will tell you who's in the lead after each question, and on every student's computer it will kind of tell them where they are or who they're behind and who they're trying to catch. This game is super engaging because the faster students answer the question correctly, the more points they earn. But if your students can't handle that and they get upset, you can take off the option for it to keep track of points, and then students are able to see if they get the question correct or incorrect, but you are not keeping track of points. All right, those are my top 5 favorite review games to play with my students. Hopefully you got at least one new idea to try in your classroom, and if you have any review games that you love that I didn't mention, leave them down in the comments because I would love to hear about them and try them out myself. Don't forget to go ahead and give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and as always, thank you so much for watching. I love you all so much. Don't forget to put your positive pants on, and I will catch you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of this video and for supporting my YouTube channel. If you want to check out any of my older videos, you can use the 2 links right down here. If you want to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any future videos, you can use the link right up here. The links to all of my social media sites, my Teachers Pay Teacher store, my merchandise store, and my Amazon store are in the description box, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.